Welcome to the Matt Waller Podcast, sponsored by New Road Capital Partners, where we look at success at the intersection of technology, logistics, supply chain, retail, and CPG, which we also call the retail value chain. I want to clarify that this podcast is distinct from my responsibilities as a professor in the Sam M. Walton College of Business. Nonetheless, it aligns with my aspiration to provide practical insights to professionals in business by showcasing companies and people that can enhance your ability to manage, lead, strategize, and market effectively in the retail value chain. Before we dive into today's exciting episode, I'd like to take a moment to express my deepest gratitude to our founding sponsor, New Road Capital Partners. New Road Capital Partners invests in proven and innovative technologies, products, and services that serve existing and unmet needs in the marketplace. New Road partners with growth-oriented companies in supply chain and logistics and innovative consumer companies. As experienced entrepreneurs and operators, the New Road team prides itself on the high level of collaboration it brings to each of its investments. New Road's team of investment professionals and operating partners have deep, relevant investing and operating experience, including significant experience leading large divisions of enterprise companies and building businesses from scale to concept to realization. To learn more, visit newroadcp.com. I also want to disclose that I'm an advisor to New Road. I would like to take this moment to recognize podcastvideos.com for being our provider of podcasts. Their mission is simple: to streamline the process of creating podcast videos. They're equipped with industry-leading equipment and streamlined processes, and their studio and services save you time, money, and hassle. I'm very pleased with the services they provide me. Now, without further ado, let's get started with today's episode. I have with me today Erhan Musaoglu, and he is the founder and CEO of Logiwa. And I am so excited about this podcast recording. I really encourage you to listen to it. And if you're like me and more familiar with legacy WMS, I think Erhan does a really good job of explaining the difference between this legacy WMS and what's really needed in fulfillment operations today. Companies do try to use WMS in these high-volume, direct-to-consumer businesses, and it rarely works well. So it's worth listening to this and learning about it. The other thing that you'll hear about is how the pandemic really drove some big changes in fulfillment operations and that have really stayed around for a long time. You're also going to hear a little bit about the kinds of capabilities that are really needed to be able to scale up in a direct-to-consumer environment. Erhan has really done a good job of staying strategically focused on that task as he developed this company. He also talks about the future as well as some trends that are occurring. So all of this is really beneficial and worth listening to. So I think you're going to enjoy it. So, Erhan, before we get going, would you mind defining warehouse management systems, WMS, and fulfillment?
Of course, let's try to do our best. So, first of all, I would like to separate traditional WMS systems from the fulfillment management systems. These are two different animals, actually. Let's start with the fulfillment solution, what a fulfillment solution is. So fulfillment solution is designed for direct-to-consumer or online fulfillment. And the idea of a fulfillment platform is connect your website, connect your sales channels such as marketplaces or shopping carts, and then download your orders in the first place. And when you download thousands of orders from websites or shopping carts, then the second problem is which fulfillment center, in case you have multiple fulfillment centers, and this is the reality for most of the fulfillment companies actually, because they want to be closer to their consumers. So that's why they have multiple small fulfillment centers. So the question is, which fulfillment center is going to ship that order based on inventory availability and based on shipping rates and based on other criteria as well. So the fulfillment platform assigns the fulfillment center, and it also creates all the picking tasks, packing, all the tasks or activities that the packers in the warehouse are going to do. So that it creates picking list, packing list, jobs, activities for the packers. This is actually the traditional WMS system. What the traditional WMS system does actually for their customers, the management of the warehouse within the four walls. And then once they pick and pack the order, there is another process called shipping. So the system should go to shipping carriers, get the best rate, and print the shipping labels and get them out of the fulfillment center. Actually, this is what we call a fulfillment platform or solution. What we call a WMS is more for B2B companies, and WMS are more storing the inventory in storage of the inventory in the warehouse, and also doing all the activities in the warehouse, such as picking, packing for bulk operations rather than thousands of small operations. So this is how I define warehouse management system and the fulfillment platform.
Great. So, and of course, the demand for this kind of capability obviously has skyrocketed because direct to consumer has skyrocketed. But I'm curious, Logiwa is focused on providing solutions for direct to consumer fulfillment and e-commerce. What unique challenges does DTC or direct to consumer and e-commerce businesses face when it comes to fulfillment and logistics?
So there are many actually. First of all, let's again separate two different businesses. One is a 3PL, which is providing fulfillment for other e-commerce companies. Let's call this third-party logistic companies or fulfillment networks. The other part is a brand that is selling their own product and also operating their own warehouse. Let's call this an e-com brand or a brand. These two are in a streamlined way. For an e-commerce brand, it's a little bit easier because usually they have their own website or own shopping cart. So only maybe one connection is going to be enough for them. So this connectivity and integrations are being real problems today because at the end of the day, you have to connect with another party and multiple parties, multiple software, multiple integration layers. And you have to be real-time, almost real-time. There is no real-time integration, by the way, almost real-time. And there may be a ton of problems during that connectivity issue or problems. So the other challenge is, especially high-volume order processing is really tough. And you have to have predefined algorithms and optimization logic that works for high-volume order processing. Just to give you an example, we recently replaced the legacy WMS system in a big client. And I asked the client, hey, what was the problem? What was wrong? And he said the label printing process was very slow. Slow means like 1 minute or 45 seconds. 45 seconds for a label printing is really too slow. Because these legacy systems designed for B2B operations, which is you print maybe 100 pick lists in a day if you are a very high volume B2B warehouse. But in a direct-to-consumer environment, you have to print maybe 20,000, 50,000 labels in a day, which you have to print this in 2 seconds or 3 seconds. So this is a big concern if you are printing a label in 45 seconds. And we can put another one related with high volume order processing. In the direct-to-consumer, there is seasonality, and the turnover rate in the warehouse, employee turnover rate in the warehouse is too high. So it means that the system should be very easy to use because like every month, every 2 months, you're changing your employees. Your employees are leaving the company and they are returning back. So if the system is not easy to use and there are a ton of configuration or ton of training need needed for this employee, again, you will have a big problem because you cannot ship your orders from your warehouse or fulfillment center.
Well, Erhan, the pandemic changed so many things. And of course, we all know it caused hyper growth in e-commerce. But I'm curious from a fulfillment operations perspective, how did it change requirements maybe in a permanent way?
You're right. Direct to consumer is increasing after the pandemic. But if you look at it from a fulfillment perspective, actually, before this pandemic, actually, the customers were pickers and packers of themselves. Let me explain you what I mean. We were going to brick and mortar stores and we were picking or finding our product on the shelf, and we were just going to the cashier, paying it, putting in a box and bringing it to home. So we were our delivery guy, we were the picker, we were the delivery guy. But after the pandemic, especially e-commerce, it changed now. You order online and someone else in the warehouse picks your product for you, picks your order for you. They put in a box, they print a shipping label, and the shipping carrier delivers your product to your home. This is the biggest change, actually. The second change is time. Before pandemic, the e-commerce sites were delivering or shipping approximately 3 days, 4 days, sometimes 1 week after the order entry. Now, the competition is really tough. And if you are not delivering your product same day, next day, or within 2 days, the customer can go to another website and they can buy from someone else. So you have to be faster than before. And this creating a different problem, which is now most of the fulfillment companies or third parties, they have to have smaller micro fulfillment centers that are closer to the consumers to ship the products faster. And then in order to solve that, they need visibility and control over these micro fulfillment centers. And also, we call it order routing. So when an order arrives, the system could be able to distribute that order to the fulfillment center that can ship that order. So these are the two big chains, actually, when you look at from a fulfillment point of view.
Yeah, that's interesting. I mean, I've experienced that myself. I like to order certain kinds of supplements from a particular company that I believe provides really high quality supplements in terms of where they source their ingredients and everything. But boy, their fulfillment is so slow. I mean, if you place an order, you might have to wait 2 weeks to get it. Sometimes longer than that.
Oh, it may be about their supply chain, actually, because if these are special niche products, they have to supply it, right? Maybe it's not a last mile fulfillment problem, but maybe it's about the supply chain.
Yeah, it could be. It could be. And this is very high volume, so they've got a lot of customers. But to your point, you can buy it from many different not warehouses, but websites, which people do. They'll switch because they realize, I can get it so much faster.
Okay, introduce them to Logiwa then.
Yeah.
Maybe we can accelerate their process.
I was thinking about introducing you to them. But, if you wouldn't mind explaining a little bit about how Logiwa is purpose-built. You've mentioned that it's purpose-built for growing direct-to-consumer and e-commerce operations. And so what I'm wondering is, what capabilities make it well-suited for the needs of these businesses as they scale up?
Great question. Actually, first of all, let's understand what these e-commerce businesses or direct-to-consumer businesses are looking for. First of all, we already discussed, they process high-volume, small orders, thousands of orders. Some of our customers are shipping 100,000 orders a day from their fulfillment centers. So this is the first unique challenge. Thousands of orders from the same fulfillment center. And if you think of these thousands of orders, in the fulfillment center, there are millions of products. And you have to find the right product in the warehouse, and you have to reroute them to their for their picking trip. So it's high volume orders plus many products in the warehouse. So they have to find it. This is the first big challenge. The second one is employees. The turnover rate is very high. So whatever software you provide them, it has to be seamless and very easy user experience. Otherwise, it will take forever to train the employee, and knowing that 3 months later, the employee will go to somewhere else. So this is the second unique challenge for direct consumer. The third one is the requirements often change, like very frequently, such as, let's assume next quarter, there may be a new shipping platform or a new bundle, and you have to change your processes within the fulfillment center. This is very common for e-commerce. It's not like B2B, because in B2B, you have a customer for last 5 years, and you will have the same customer for the next 5 years. It's a strategic agreement between the customer and you. And if you make a mistake, like you're okay, they can compensate it. Or if there's a new requirement, you know that requirement 1 year ago, and you start building your process based on that requirement because of strategic relationship. But in e-commerce, you don't know the customers. The customers just type your URL, purchase a product. And if you are not providing them what they need by means of shipping platform, a better rate, or a bundle, they will go somewhere else. So it's very dynamic and changing environment. The other one, so in order to solve these three, first of all, you need to have a very easy to use, streamlined UX or UI. The second one is you need automation. Without automation, there is no way you can ship 100,000 orders from a warehouse, because it will take forever. It will take two weeks or 3 weeks to just ship 1 day's of order load. So you need to have automation, and a lot of automation. And I usually separate automation into 2 parts. One is a software automation. We can automate most of the processes by using a software algorithm, such as job grouping, walking optimization, and directed put away, and some others. Also, the second part of automation is hardware, like robotics, sorters, conveyor belts, like any type of automated hardware. So these two automations should work together. You cannot just have software automation or hardware automation. It has to be together. And also, in order to solve, again, these problems, we need connectivity. Because high volume orders, you have to download them and you have to print shipping labels. So this is how we approach the unique characteristics, unique problems, unique challenges of e-commerce and direct-to-consumer players, actually. And how we position our product to solve these unique challenges.
You know, one benefit of being cloud-based is that you can update the solution more easily for everyone at the same time. And I mean, this has been a benefit that's been around for a long time. I remember back as far as 2000, when people had application service providers, ASP, that was a benefit. But, you know, business is moving so much more quickly right now. I'm just curious to hear, you know, because e-commerce and direct-to-consumer is constantly changing in various ways, can you give some examples of how being cloud-based may have actually helped customers in that regard?
Great question. This is, I guess, a big differentiator of Logiwa, actually. Let me try to explain. So, usually, people mix cloud-based, web-based, and being a true cloud-based. So web-based is you're just web-based. Like you can be browser-based and you can still be perpetual or on the premise. So you can still have a dedicated server. Cloud-based also means the same. You can put your server on cloud and you will be on a cloud-based environment, but you will have your own software, own application. But a true native cloud is just one product for all the customers. Means that all the customers are in the same database and they are using the same product. These three are totally different. And what Logiwa provides is a true product. We call it a product-led approach. So we have just one product on cloud, which is scalable horizontally and vertically. So it gives us a huge advantage because legacy WMS players, their approach is, hey, let's just build you a project and a project plan, and let's do all development customization that is tailored for your business, which is okay. But then you are in a separate environment as a customer, and when you want another requirement, they have to send you multiple people, developers, consultants, whatever, and they have to build it for you. And once they build it for you, they cannot just roll it out to other customers because each and every customer has their own built software. So they have to do it again. Actually, this is a business model. They make money from this, and like they call it professional services, and everyone makes money from that. Logiwa's approach is totally different. We do not invest in a customer, but we invest in our product. If a customer requesting a development, or if there is a new requirement coming from e-commerce players, or if the business requirements are changed for the market, we just develop it ourselves and we put it as a product so that all the customers can use it. So there is no customer-specific development in Logiwa. It is all product-based. And again, for us, it is an investment to our product. And this is how we approach the cloud environment, actually. We are not just a dedicated cloud environment. It's a true native cloud environment for us.
Thank you for explaining that. Could you walk us through some of Logiwa's key features for, say, digital warehousing, shipment optimization, warehouse management, and how do the features that you've created really drive efficiency and value?
We have many features actually, but let me try to explain the most important ones actually. We already explained the integration to multiple stores or sales channels. As I said, we download these orders. Also, we push real-time inventory to these channels because like your website or your store or your shopping cart should know your available inventory. So this is a really tough process, and we try to do it real time, but there is no real time. It's like almost real time. Every minute or every other minute, we have to do this synchronization with the channels. This is unique for e-commerce WMS systems or fulfillment platforms. The other one we already mentioned, when we download thousands of orders, we have to make a decision which fulfillment center is going to ship that order. Even we can split an order into two parts if the configuration allows, and we can send two products of the same order to different fulfillment centers if there's an urgency. And after that, there is a different process within the fulfillment center. Like now you have 20,000 orders to be shipped from your fulfillment center. Our system, when we download the orders, we have a background process or behind the scenes, we process all the orders. And we identify different type of orders and we optimize their flow, their picking flow within the warehouse. Such as if we find same product having multiple orders, like 100 orders or 200 orders, we can create one specific batch for that order so that we can process all these 100 orders in one step. Or there are other algorithms as well. I'm not going to explain all the algorithms, but the thing is, we batch orders together and try to create a better walking distance and better process, optimized process for pickers. These are unique algorithms for Logiwa. Even now, we are adding AI, black box AI into our application so that AI started learning the process, learning the efficiency of the pickers, packers, and the product type and everything. And AI is going to create tasks for us or jobs for us maybe next year. We are just working on it. The other one is in Logiwa, to make it more flexible for the changing business requirements, you can use automation rules, which is an if-then-else statement. Actually, you can say, if, for example, if the address says PO, then use USPS type of rule sets. And this is a lifesaver. Otherwise, a supervisor should check each and every order manually and set rules. But with our automation rule, they can just write if-then-else statements to make it way easier for themselves. The other process that we really care and important is directed put away. I believe that if you put the product to the right location, you can pick way easier. So that's why we have a directed put away algorithm. When someone receives a product in warehouse, we show that person where to put that product. And there is a very complex algorithm behind that, and we know exactly where the product should go. These are, like, when you explain them, this seems like easy, but they are very complicated processes, knowing that there are millions of products, thousands of different bins or shelves or locations in the warehouse. You have to make the right call and put the product to the right place. Other than that, we also have robotics integrations. We are already integrated with multiple robotics companies. And in addition to that, I made a promise to the market, which is any customer or any prospect wants to do a robotics integration, we'll do it free of charge. Because we believe robotics is the future of logistics. And we have to make peace with robotics vendors. So any robotics integration, we'll do it free of charge for our customers.
Very impressive.
Yeah, you have to. I mean, that's why when I say we invest in product, I mean it. We invest in product. Any robotics integration that I build is going to help the customers as well.
You were talking about just putting product away in the right places is so critical. And I know you have a really strong background in industrial engineering and operations research, and that's what I think of when I think of those kinds of problems. They're very typical in industrial engineering.
Exactly. I'm an industrial engineer, and I have more than 100 engineers at the moment, industrial engineers, computer science, that are constantly working on the product. I'm not saying customer, but constantly working on the product and improving the product. They are adding all these algorithms, AI, functionality, and it will continue forever, I guess, in the e-commerce business.
Yeah, there's no end to improving efficiency.
No, especially, I always give this example my customers. If you are shipping pencils from your warehouse, and if you are in a B2B environment, 10,000 pencil shipment means 2 pallets. You just pull out 2 pallets, put it in a truck, and in 15 minutes, you shipped 10,000 pencils. In an e-commerce environment, 10,000 pencils means at least 8,000 different customers, 8,000 different orders, 8,000 different packages, and 8,000 shipping labels from your warehouse. And optimization opportunity is huge and endless. You can always make optimization in that very complicated environment. And we are talking seconds. If I can improve my customers' order picking process 1 second, and if they ship 20,000 order lines, this means 20,000 seconds every day for that customer. And we call it impact score. And we just measure the impact score of each and every customer. How much impact we generated last week. Like how many orders they can ship more from the same facility after the optimization or improvement we provided them. This is a very important thing for us. And you cannot believe this actually. All the onboard engineers, customer success managers, even the after sales support, they have to report how much impact they generated for each customer every week. This is a weekly report for us.
Well, I want to shift gears here a moment. But before I do, I want to talk about ROI a little bit and one aspect of it. Before I do, earlier you mentioned the future of logistics is automation and robotics, and I certainly agree. And you see there's a lot of effort going on right now to implement that and to explore it. I always assume that the pandemic issues caused that. Not only did you have more direct to consumer fulfillment going on, but there's more labor issues. Is that part of what you're seeing, or is it more driven by just the need for additional efficiency?
Both, actually. First of all, yes, there is a labor problem. And in the beginning of the session, I said turnover rate is very high in warehouses, and we see it, by the way.
Right.
So, yes, there is definitely a labor issue, but also there is an efficiency opportunity there as well. So I believe that in the future, it's not just going to be robots, but robots and humans working together, because there are certain tasks in the warehouse that robots can do, or at least now. And also, still, the ROI of a robot or automation is still a little bit long, to be honest.
So, again, switching gears to ROI, one of the most important variables in ROI is implementation time. In other words, how long does it take you to implement? There's two aspects to this. One, how long does it take to implement? And two, when you look at a lot of e-commerce companies that are scaling up, they're funded in some cases by venture capital. And when they're funded by venture capital, there's an expectation that they're going to ramp up quickly. I mean, that's the real reason venture capital is provided to these e-commerce companies, is so that they can ramp up. And so, if I were running an e-commerce company, this would be top of mind for me. I mean, like I say, there's a direct ROI issue. The faster I can implement, the better ROI on the solution that I'm paying for. But even from an ROI perspective, in terms of financing, like from venture capital firms. So I'm wondering, and by the way, I'm personally more familiar with legacy WMS, and my experience with that is it can take a long time to implement. What are the differences between the two?
First of all, let's start by giving examples.
Okay.
Of our customers. So our average implementation time is 6 to 8 weeks, but it can depend from customer to customer. It can go to 12, 15. It can be like 4 weeks as well. It depends on really the customer and how much resource they can dedicate to us. I'll give you two very good examples to understand how they scale with Logiwa. Deliver, the fulfillment network, first acquired by Shopify, now acquired by Flexport. Deliver, when we started with Deliver, they were not acquired by Shopify. And they were exactly how you defined, raised money, venture-backed company, trying to scale faster. But as you know, Deliver uses 3PL warehouses. They are not asset heavy, so they use 3PL warehouses to scale their business. And across their business partners, which there were 30 plus in the past, there were 8 or 10 different legacy WMS systems. They were using legacy WMS systems in different 3PLs. And it was really tough for them to scale. So they started with Logiwa, and within 6 months, we implemented more than 30 warehouses for them. And they really start scaling, and then Shopify acquired them, and then they continue their success. One example is Locat. Locat is a Asia-based fulfillment network. 4 or 5 months ago, if I am not wrong, they raised a round, and then they came to us and they said, "Hey, Erhan, we would like to scale up." Okay, so we implemented their first warehouse. We went there for 10 days, Philippines. The first warehouse was in Philippines, and we went there for 10 days. We implemented the first warehouse, and then after that, they added six more warehouses in 6 different countries by themselves.
Oh my goodness.
Without even calling us or needing our help. So with a legacy WMS player, it is impossible to do something like that. You need to set
Oh, yeah.
like each and every warehouse, even different countries. Like it would take 3 years, 4 years. And you are right. These venture-backed companies, they don't have time. They have to prove their investors, hey, we are scaling up. So we have many customers like that at the moment, which are scaling with us and venture-backed. We like venture-backed companies a lot because they have resources and they want to scale faster, which we are designed for.
Yeah, that's neat. Well, and then maybe in the same vein a little bit, how does Logiwa provide your customers visibility and control when it comes to managing and updating their WMS?
So first of all, Logiwa is a cloud application, so they don't need to update anything on the server side or code side. We just push a new release every month. We just send them a release note explaining what is new, and if they want to configure it, it's configurable. Anything we do in the system, we are giving the customer ability to configure or to adjust it to their business models. This is how we approach the problem. They have a ton of tools. It is a flexible and configurable solution. But before that, I would like to dive into our unique business model or e-commerce players' unique business model. At the end of the day, in a summary, they, like all the e-commerce companies or 3PLs that are providing fulfillment e-commerce, they download orders, they pick orders, they package them, they print a shipping label, and they use a parcel carrier and ship it to customers. This is same for any e-commerce business. You can sell a pencil, you can sell a laptop or food. Nothing changed there. You always do the same thing. So our solution is solving this problem. And we are giving all the necessary tools to our customers to change their business model, to adapt themselves to the new requirements and everything. And I have more than 100 engineers, and I don't try to solve all the problems in the world. I just try to solve that e-commerce flow and give them all the tools that they can benefit. Make sense?
Makes sense. So what do you see as the next major innovations or trends when it comes to fulfillment technology? And how are you positioning Logiwa for the future?
You already touched base one of them, which is robotics. So I said, hey, I'm going to provide free robotics integration to anyone, which is one of them. The other one is, now it's all about headless. Means that if you want, we have to be a platform rather than just a software. Headless means we are now opening our APIs or business rules to partners, because you cannot solve all the problems, even that e-commerce flow yourself. You need other partners to make better improvements in your software, such as scale, robotics, and others. So they can also use our headless framework to connect Logiwa and do more optimization or improvement for our customers. The third one, which we are working actually, is AI. So especially, like we said, labor is a problem nowadays, and owning a new employee is a big problem. So with the help of AI, first we can onboard new employee easier. Also, we can benchmark and see what is wrong with certain processes, or what certain people are making wrong in the process. AI has huge opportunity, big data, machine learning, and AI. So now we can able to benchmark different type of employees and see what they are good at, and we can even assign them the tasks that they can do better. There are approximately 20 AI projects at the moment, which our R&D team is working on. And some of them are live, some of them are going live next couple of 6 months or 1 year. But these are the three things: robotics, AI, and headless open architecture.
Well, Erhan, it's so impressive what you have accomplished as founder and CEO of Logiwa. very impressive. And as I've told you before when we talked, I think your ability to stay focused from a strategic perspective is commendable. So thank you so much for taking time to talk with me. I appreciate it.
Thanks for having me and letting me explain and talk about Logiwa, our product. Thanks.
If you're finding value in this podcast, we greatly appreciate your support by subscribing to our YouTube channel. Additionally, following us on Apple and Spotify and leaving up to a 5-star review would be immensely helpful. We welcome any feedback or questions related to the podcast, as well as suggestions for further topics and guests. You can leave your comments on our YouTube channel, and rest assured that I will read each and every one of them. Please also take a moment to check out our podcast sponsors, as they play a critical role in keeping this podcast running. For more information on specific topics, timestamps, or links to articles mentioned during the podcast, head over to mattwallerpodcast.com.